Welcome, everyone. If we didn't have a chance to talk, I think this is also the best opportunity because the event tonight is going to be an event where we share information, ideas, and thoughts, but we also want you to chip in because it's a community conversation. As usual in my education sessions, I bring a guest speaker. Tonight's guest speaker is Lynn Tan. She is the area director of M22 or Metro here in Victoria. And she's been in Toastmasters for a while. She's also a member of CPA Toastmasters. And the reason why I thought she is a great representative of this particular topic that is so interesting for every one of us is because when Lynn was a president of her club, she came with this initiative of having a joint meeting with my club. And I think what a beautiful way to connect with your neighbors once in a while. And she has a lot of strategies that I can't wait to hear more. And I'm going to now leave it with Lynn to tell us more about her strategies of keeping members engaged. Lynn.
Cool. Thank you, Alex, and thank you everyone for being here. Friday nights, I know everyone have better plan, but what is better to be in the Toastmaster training session for tonight? So thank you everyone for joining tonight. And I think Alex have done my introduction for me as well. So my name is Lynn. I am an area director of M22, and I'm a current CPA CPA Toastmaster member. So tonight's session is about strategy to keep member engaged. And before I start, Alex did briefly mention about my background as well. So 12 months ago, I joined Toastmasters 6 years ago during COVID, just because I was so bored and I wanted to look for opportunity to speak. And I went to the CPA Toastmaster Club, and the community was so great. Toastmaster was like the structure of Toastmaster was so powerful and would really help me to enhance my public speaking skill. So I joined CPA Toastmasters 6 years ago. And at the time, the club was doing really well with COVID. Everyone just want to join online. But the thing is with that is when we, sorry, my screen go off. Sorry, when after COVID, the club actually really struggled. We struggled to have members coming back on board, and we struggled to have people coming online, back in person. So 12 months ago, probably 18 months ago, I took on the president of CPA Toastmaster. At the time, the club, we only have 8 members left, and we actually struggling to even like hit the minimum members in the club. And after like 12 months of really hard work of me and my committee to the club, and I'm really pleased to say that at the end of my term, we have more than 20 members and achieve our first president distinguished club in 2025. So today I would like to share a couple of strategies that I personally have used, and I hope that you guys would find it beneficial. And let's go with the first section of tonight. So I want to start with the agenda for tonight. Agenda today is pretty straightforward. Firstly, we'll go through understanding the foundation of a strong club. We will look at what is the top 3 engagement strategy that I personally have used and I really think is very powerful. And what is the key takeaway and also the action plan for what we're going to do after this session. So I would like to start with a reflection question for everyone before we deep dive further. And the question is, what is the number one challenge in keeping members engaged in your club? And because this is a really interactive session, like please feel free to put yourself off mute and just share with us and share with everyone what's the challenge that you guys think in your club is actually having difficulty in keeping a member engaged. Anyone?
Yeah, I'll have a go. I think we've got a small number of enthusiastic members, but it's a little bit too small. So then we have trouble filling roles, and then it becomes a bit onerous. Like it's a lot of hard work for everybody at meetings because we have a lot of roles, and then people have to do 2 or 3 of them, and then there's all the preparation, and that gets a bit hard.
Yep. Yeah. Anyone else?
We have a lot of members who are, I'm not saying old because I fit into that category now, but they've retired and they go on long trips and things like this, or there's illness, either they or family. So those 2 things are a bit tricky. In the younger ones, we've got to fly in, fly out. So he's got to try and fit in with work. And he's probably working most times when we have our meetings. So he can only come, once a month. But he's dead keen.
Yep. But it sounds like a very good problem to have when you have more members than less members. So
We don't have more members. We're hands-on, and I tell everyone expect 2 roles, even if one's Harkmaster. And we always get volunteers for speeches at the end of the meeting because they're the ones who take the most planning and things. But yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So I think for my club at that time, it was probably like we have a really low engagement, like the members that attend either like, travel overseas or just busy with work. And the people that came is always like the couple. And we actually had that one time the meeting, I remember walking into the meeting, it's only one member, which is me, and 4 guests. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to like run this meeting? And I still remember really closely at like really like remember that night because I was struggling to have I only have one person and I struggled to fill roles. So at the end of the day, like what I did is just to engage all the guests and just like, hey, I don't have members today, but can you just try to do this role and just help them? But it was a very challenging night, but I'm glad that we went through and the guests actually came back to join us as a member. So I'm glad like things worked out at the end for me as well. So the next slide here we want to talk about before we go into the strategy, I think it's very important for us to understand what is the quality of a strong club because engagement doesn't happen by accident. It's actually built on a solid foundation of the club. So there's kind of 5 key foundation or fundamental that I think is the quality of strong club. So firstly, it's a well-structured meeting. Normally, if you see a strong club, the club actually run a very quality meeting. They are very organized, easy to follow. Everyone know what they are doing, and actually they start on time and finish on time as well. So I think that's one of the very important quality of the club to have a really high quality meeting every single time when we have the Toastmaster meeting. And second would be a supportive and constructive feedback, where this is what we want from Toastmaster, where members feel safe and supported. They are more willing, to speak, to take time to improve their speeches, and also take a step of more comfort outside the comfort zone and spend time on growing themselves if the environment is safe and very supportive. And the third kind of quality that I have here is a visible pathway for growth. As you know, Toastmaster use pathway quite a fair bit in terms of evaluating a person level. But I think what's important is like members need to stay engaged whenever they do a speech, and this purpose there's always a purpose for their speech and what are their purpose and whether they have achieved the goal of the pathway speech they intend to deliver. So when goals are really clear and achievement recognized, and people will feel more motivated to continue in the club. Because I often find people doesn't really continue with Toastmaster is they don't really see the value of it. And most of the time people don't see value. A couple of speeches, they will just drop off. So it's very important to have a visible path to grow. And obviously, positive and inclusive club culture is one of the things that everyone come to Toastmaster Club. They not only want to feel like improve, they also want to see whether they feel inclusive in the club. Finally, we want to look at really strong member participation. Ideally, we want everyone to really participate in every single meeting, especially the members, through whether it's taking a meeting role, speaking opportunity, or discussion. We really want to see everyone getting involved and improve the member and the meeting quality. So when you think about all these things, like the strong club is not just running meeting. There's actually a lot of factors. I think the environment we want, we really need to have a high quality where people feel that they are learning every single time, and they really need to get them involved as well. So those are the key quality of the strong club that I find is quite important to kind of take note. And I would like to share the next section here is what is the strategy to actually help members to stay engaged. And I personally use that strategy and I find it quite useful for myself. But let's go through that and see whether you guys have a similar thought or is there anything else that you guys want to build on for tonight. So make every meeting engaging is usually one of the key highlight that I have personally find, because the meeting, as a Toastmaster meeting, we are normally pretty structured in terms of what we want to show in, what we want to incorporate in the meeting, but it doesn't need to be the same all the time. So we can keep the meeting a little bit more different and things like having there's a couple of notes here about what we can do is really to have like a bit of variety and activities in the meeting. It doesn't need to be the same all the single time. We can add in a little bit of fun. Like Alex said, like at that time, I actually reached out to Bevan, the president of South Bank, to have an idea like, hey, I have this idea of, running a joint meeting. Are you guys keen? And when can we do it? And what is the best way to do and bring those members, 2 club members coming together? And even like in our club at the time, we have this Halloween theme that we get people coming dressing up as like Halloween and their favorite character. And we also had like this, we also had like this 10-year birthday anniversary that we also engaged like other members, like our past members and all the past presidents in our last 10 years of the club. We actually get them and come together as a group for the night. So it was pretty fun to have a different variety of teams and activities. And sorry, I'm jumping around here, but I think being said that having a team is important, but setting a tone in the first for the five minutes of the meeting is really important. President opening need to be really strong and really like treated as a speech. And they need to be, and also Toastmaster need to be aware of what is the mood of the day. Like if the mood of the night is a bit quiet, what can they do to, like the vibes up on the night? So Toastmaster need to be quite observant in terms of what they need to do and whether they need to adjust their style throughout the night. And we need to also ensure that member participation, they are not just sitting there, even though we have problem with sometimes we have less members, where we struggle to fill in the role. But I'm sure the member is really happy to fill in any role if they want, if they just come in and like make sure that they are being told before that. And one of the things that I find that I always want to make sure that everyone in the club is engaged, either like table topic, either like speeches, evaluation, even though they have no clue how to do like a hard master, we want to try to involve everyone in the club throughout the meeting, because otherwise the more that people get engaged, the quality of the meeting will improve, and also they were more prepared and they will learn more about the role. So I really tend to, and even like sometimes they don't have a speech slot, there's also like just pick up any role that they have available at night, right? Like doesn't need to be like a big role, even like small role, round robin master. That's a role that you can we can fill in. And what I find, one of the things that rather than making every meeting engaged, a lot of people come in to learn something from the meeting. So I would strongly encourage running an additional educational program more frequently, if possible. And maybe can talk about pathway project. And in CPA Toastmaster, we actually did a public like a workshop on how to overcome nervousness and also how to improve our evaluation by more seniors member. And we also did a couple of before the contest, we also teach the member how to judge and what are the criteria that they need in the contest to ensure that they can kind of hit that criteria eligibility throughout the contest season. So it was really fun, but I think there's a couple of all the key things is just making things like more fun and more, you're learning something through the meeting. And even there's not enough role, there's always role to do like reserve speaker, or there's role, I don't know. So I saw like a couple of clubs, they do like a toast. So they have like 1 minute speaking slot for like just practicing how they toast in front of people. So I've seen like different roles. It doesn't need to be just like a Toastmaster role. The club can have full authority to create what role is more appropriate for the club and for the members. So one of the last thing that, other than having the meeting engaged, I think recognition is quite important. We can do a lot of achievement rewards. We can do what's the best. I mean, a lot of people do the what's the best table topic and best evaluation, or even someone that has performed very extremely well that night, they can get like a little treat from the president or from the Toastmaster. And we also can do some sort of competition or debate style. And I think that's what we did last time with HR Bank. We actually did like debate meetings. So where we split 2 groups and we just get two club members and come and compete on a debate on a certain topic, but on a debate style. So that's one of the things that I think making strategy to help people engage is probably make the meeting more fun and high quality. And I think having to try a couple of these activities that I've done here would certainly like beneficial to try in your own club. And the next strategy I have
Sorry,
here
Lynn,
is,
I'm just gonna jump in to make sure
yep,
that we also listen to the questions that come in on chat.
yep, sorry,
So a
yep.
question that's all good. I'm
I
here
want to see that.
to tell you what's coming up. So one of the questions was someone was interested to know what other ideas do people have because they are getting a 10 years anniversary very soon.
Woohoo!
So yeah, that's a beautiful milestone. So if you maybe can share something that you've done or something that you couldn't do, but it was a great idea.
Yep. So for thanks, as it wasn't sorry, I don't know which name, but thanks for participating in this session. So what I have done for my our club 10th anniversary is we actually have a past member list and contact number. If we don't, we get an older member from our club actually reach out to more like past member because I'm not in the club for the last 10 years, so I don't know who will be the person. So we managed to get 9 out of 10 president for the last few years to attend. So we got the president, all the members to send out comms to them. And we actually reached out to the founder of the club, which is Michelle. She's the one that founded the club at the time. And we actually messaged her and asked her whether she want to come. Unfortunately, she can't make it. But she did send us a cupcake, a very, very nice cupcake to us to celebrate our 10-year achievement. I think for having a 10-year anniversary, it's very important to get all the past member engaged and come back for just for the night because I find that it's a big achievement for the club for survive for having active for 10 years. And for me, we actually have prepared like food and drinks and we also kind of decorate the place as like a birthday theme and people come with funny things like we actually bought like birthday hat as well. So all the guests come in late or people willing to wear our birthday hat and they have like this hat on in the meeting that people wear. And we also did what we did very fun is like for grandparents. So anyone that the word of the day when the word of the day get mentioned of the night, we actually have this whistle and we will just blow. You know how the long kind of whistle like the birthday whistle, and we actually blow that and just like it's a very funny sound to have at that night. So it was really fun, and we really make it like a birthday party as well, but it's a more Toastmaster style birthday party.
Well done. Thank you for sharing that. And I hope that Leanne was the one that asked about this idea. And I'm hoping that she found it useful. She also asked, what do other people do for educational programs? I've shared some of the things that I've heard. I've shared with her in chat. But if you have some other ideas as well, I think it will be valuable for people to hear more.
Yeah, so what we have done is we have done the evaluation, so we have a very senior experienced Toastmaster member in the club, and we actually get him to deliver how do you give a best evaluation and what are the tips and tricks to run to deliver evaluation. So we did that in our club. We also did the pathway, which is a very pretty 5 to 10 minute workshop on how to select what is a pathway, what is the best path that you would select and best suit for your needs. There's a couple of things that we've done, and one of the things that we've done is actually a contest as well. Like because we have so many new members at the time, they don't know what contest is about and what are the criteria for each of the contest session. So we have a very experienced members that come up and deliver like what is the criteria judging, and we actually have a test speaker as well. So a test speaker come up and deliver the speech, and the person that hosts that workshop will come and okay, like just try to judge and what are the criteria and what are the improvement. So we did those workshop in our meeting, but I know Alex, your club you actually done like a table topic style, which I'm not quite sure how it was done, but if you want to share, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, I do have a few ideas to share as well. When I was an area director, I was looking after a club that was struggling to come up with speeches. So they came up with this micro learning session where everyone will talk about something they really love or something they found challenging to go through. And I went to their session, and one time they were talking about trains and how trains run and how the traffic light runs for trains. And they just came up with all the research that they could find on trains. It's that something that people want to know, not necessarily, but when you put it in front of them, it just becomes so fascinating to learn about. Another thing that someone in my club has done as a project was to tell us how matcha is done. I don't know how many of you have had matcha before, but he decided, and actually it's Bevan, the same person that collaborated with Lynn to have a joint meeting, and he brought all the ingredients. He made the matcha on the spot, and that was his project to teach us how to make matcha. So really, the ideas can go as far as anything, as long as you're passionate about the topic and you share it with people and they become passionate whether they like it or not, because you're the one who makes it exciting for them.
Yeah, and I actually recently went to this women in leadership meeting, like actually like just few days ago on Monday. They actually ran an educational workshop on how to be a good leader and what are the quality of the leader. So I would say the workshop doesn't need to be Toastmaster related. It could be something personal, how to be a leader, like how to be, improve something that you want to improve, like doing matcha. So I think maybe just look beyond. I would say, like, suggest look beyond what the club just offer as well. Like, look at what the individual want to learn from meetings, or yeah, anything. It can be like anything that you want to run as a workshop. Cool. All right. Cool. So this next strategy that personally find really, really useful is making the club really personal. Because what I find is at the end of the day, people don't stay in the club just for the meeting. They stay because they feel connected with the people. And for myself, like, because we were so struggling with members at the time, I actually spent really long time to actually build that relationship with all my existing members and new members, because I want to know them, not just their goals for, like, what are the public speaking objective. I want to know that as a person, what they want in life, and what are something that are important to them, what they actually really like, and what they want to, as like in life, what challenges that they have, their story, their background. I really spend a lot of time like building a really good like friendship in the club. So making a club personal, what I would say is really recognize, celebrate personal and professional win, whether it's a promotion at work that you've seen someone post on LinkedIn. You can just mention in the meeting, hey, this person got promotion, like just acknowledge and their personal professional achievement. And maybe like having a baby is a really big achievement as well. There are things that personal, doesn't need to be speech related. And I really, really passionate about building a genuine relationship and friendship within the club, because I find if you have a strong friendship in the club will continue to grow. And even people like left the club, they will still continue to be a great part of your life. And for my life, I've like built made a lot of good friends throughout my period as a president. And even I'm not president now, but I still like, very value our friendship. And what we really want is to also create space for connection. For my club, we actually have a social drink every single meeting right now. Like every single time we have after the meeting, we will have a post drink session. After the session, we will go to a pub nearby and just spend some time like talking something, like just not. It's just kind of similar with the public speaking, but it's a more on a casual setting. So we want it to be really personal, and we also spend time honoring birthday as well. Sometimes we celebrate birthdays in our club, and also celebrate like I mean, you guys have the same as well. You probably like give like pathway milestone when they achieve some they achieve their next level. You give like a ribbon to them, and really want to foster the culture of care and belonging. Because like, if I find that if you make it like really personal, they don't feel like they are just a member. They feel like this is like part of the community, and they feel seen, they feel supported, and really they feel really valued. So I think they will be more engaging and willing to come back more often. So I personally find that really help to grow and engage. And I really find that like keeping a strong club, the one thing is like building that positive vibe and really building the strong community within the club. I see I got the green one, so I almost out of time, but it's okay. We'll have plenty of couple of slides more. So the third thing I find is building a strong mentoring system in the club is really, really important. I've visited quite a fair bit of club, and I really find the club that works really best for the member is having a really strong mentoring program. And because for me, when I first joined Toastmaster, I sometimes feel like I'm not sure what I need to do. And at the time, I was lucky enough to have my mentor in the club that really helped me to navigate what is pathway, how do I do this role, how do I improve my speech for the next level. And I find a strong mentoring program actually really help the member to feel a bit more guidance and more empowered to do what they're gonna assign to do that night. So I would suggest having a really strong mentoring program, whether it's pairing a new member to a more senior or a buddy, to help them started, to get them started or on board to Toastmaster, especially when they first join the club. And I would strongly suggest have a club mentor coordinator somewhere in the community structure, because at the time I really keen to grow my the club mentoring program. We actually have a club mentor coordinator in our committee, and her role is main responsibility to make sure the mentoring program works. And what we want to make sure that it's not just work, it's actually consistent. We actually have a pathway to help the members and keep track the member progress. Mentoring will really strongly support members with meeting roles, and they will really involve more in the meeting, especially when they feel guided. And what we can do through mentoring is like events, you have a buddy, we can track how they progress. You can check in on them on a more frequently basis. And also one thing I find that sometimes people will miss meeting, but if you reach out to them after 2 or 3 meets, most of the time they will come back because they have this connection in the club. They're like, oh, someone actually look after me and really want me to come back. They will come back. And it's really important, because I find that sometimes if people just drop off 4 or 5 times and they don't come back anymore, but if you have someone that check in on them, make sure they're on track, ensure, ask them about when's the next speech, whether they need help, they will actually come back to, continue to contribute. Because myself as well, at some point I was like in and out from Toastmaster, but a really senior members in my club actually reached out to me, like, what's going on, what's happening personal life. And because of those regular check-in, I just came back like even more often. I think for strong mentoring is quite important, because it's just to really help every member feel really guided, supported, and valued. And I want to leave everyone with a really strong kind of finishing for the mentoring program, because growth isn't a solo journey. It happens when a member are guided, supported, and lifted by those around them. Because I'm sure at some point that you guys have mentor in your life that really helped you and lifted you. And I hope that the person actually is from Toastmaster, and that's why you're continuing the Toastmaster community. Alex, I don't have question on those, but I want to move on to a discussion, because I really like the interactive our training session. If everyone's happy, I want to hear from you what works well in your club, and whether there's any new ideas that can help outside that what we have discussed, whether there's any new ideas that can improve the participation in your club and it really works well for you and you wanted to share.
I suppose ours is a corporate club, so it's a little bit different, but we've gone through periods where we've had low engagement and higher engagement, and we're going through a period at the moment with probably higher engagement. And it's very healthy at the moment. And we've got a Teams chat, and so we will, if we see someone that's done something at work, and it's come up on our internal communications, we will celebrate that. So recognising things that have happened to people sort of outside the club has worked really well for us. And I think we've started introducing some social interactions as well, just recently, going out for drinks after our meeting and that sort of thing. But I think the idea of creating a supportive community is so important.
I agree as well. I feel like now people attend the club is always come for the social drink afterwards, not for Toastmaster, not really for Toastmaster. But again, as long as they come and continue their Toastmaster journey, that's all it matters. I think for our club recently, we spent actually more time on the social drink than our own own meeting. So yeah, I think it's great, and it's great attendance as well, because people want to come for drink and they will just stay for the meetings. So I think for the club that want to keep the member within their club, it's quite important to have that social connection.
And I think one other thing from me personally, because I went to another club a few years ago and tried that out. And when I saw the speeches and the evaluations, and this is to the first slide that you showed, there was no things to improve in the evaluations. It was just all positive. And I came away thinking, I'm not going to join this club because I'm here to learn. And I think with our evaluations, we do make a point, and I think most clubs do, but of making sure that in the evaluation, there's always something that people can can work on. Like it's supportive, engaging, but everyone's there to improve. So making sure that there's something to improve in the evaluations.
Yeah, 100%. Because I think one of the most important people want actually is like what is the things that they can improve. Not, I think like they will emphasize more on what things they want to improve rather than, oh, these are things that they do well. And if sometimes like if you feel like your club, want some sort of fresh idea, like feel free to reach out to anyone in the district. I'm sure like everyone will, willing to come and do like a one-off visit to give like different style of feedback. And that's where people will learn. Yeah, like I think there's a lot of like people within the community itself that willing to just come and visit your club and provide different style of feedback that people can feel a bit of refresh as well.
That's a great service, I think, for the club to have that opportunity for feedback.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that want to share, like what works well in your club and like any ideas that you think that you can continue engage the members?
In our club, our area director, she's a bit of a foodie and she's very, very social, and that she's lovely. But she suggested to us that we meet for tea and then go off to the club meeting. And she'd actually researched at a local hotel, which was just down the road from our club. And the kitchen's open at 5:30 and our meeting's at 7. And we need to be there soon after 6:30 to set up because we're a hybrid club and things. And we've done it several times without her and with her as well. We also have a secret Santa, and where people we exchange books because we're all wordy and we're all great readers, it seems, or most of us in the club. And that just works so well. We've had 3, perhaps 4 years of it. And this year, instead of in the past, we've brought books along and say, look, this is really good. I think you'll enjoy this book, or this one here, I didn't get it, but I think you might. But again, our area director, she suggested perhaps what we could do is talk about our favourite book for table topics. And that went off really well. We all enjoyed talking about our favourite books and we learnt a lot about the person giving it. So, we've introduced giving cards too for acknowledgement on congratulations, this has happened to you, or this, or whatever. And they can work out expensive, but since I'm buying the cards, I go to the dollar shop, cheapest chips, and buy cards for $1 or $2, and they're blank often, so I can fill in nice words, what I want to say. And I think that's developed it. And I've pushed when we've had hybrid people, discreetly saying, have you said hello to so-and-so on screen yet? Have you worked out? And normally I get the camera wrong, so I make a big deal about that so everyone knows where they should be standing. And I think, I'm not saying we're perfect, but we're trying to be better than we were. And people enjoy it, I think. So, but it's non-stop. You've just got to keep going, trying.
Yeah, I think it's more like trial and just keep trying. Like there's no right or wrong. Like if you found the right method, yeah, good. If not, try next time. There's always so many meetings you can try and try, improve. And recently, like there's so many like great ideas that the member have and just haven't get executed. So I think hearing from the member through like what they want and what kind of interest they are in, I think it's also a good thing to learn from them. Yeah, there's actually a lot of different ideas and I can't even tell. There's so many.
It is, I think it's improved our club because there was little, and I didn't notice it at first because I was so nervous, and a friend invited me and I just sat with him most of the time. And then as I started feeling my feet, I thought there wasn't much, and people didn't seem to mind. They were all lovely while you're there and that, but we could do more acknowledgement of finishing pathways and things a bit, but we always mention this is so-and-so's first speech, and we make a big fuss at, the general evaluation, her evaluator, the president, everyone knows and announces well done things. So
yeah, I think there's a lot of creative way to do roles as well. Like I think there's always like I know Toastmasters standards kind of structured on what they want to do in a team meeting, but those roles can be, you can turn into more a creative way of delivering your evaluation, creative way of doing things. There's one time that we did is like we actually have like like, we have table topic, 4 or 5 questions. We actually hide the question under the chair. And then like, hey, you're already seated on the question. So people like just flip and just like that kind of little surprise in the club, and actually like really like people actually enjoying. It's like, oh, something new today. So I find like if you keep that meeting interesting and really
Yes.
fun and unexpected, and I think that really helps.
Yes, we've introduced debates too and a few other different things. But we had a member who's very good, and unfortunately, she's back in Queensland, and the internet's very spotty. But one of her questions was, "Is this the same format every time?" And I keep pushing for trying different things and everything. And a VP, anyway, we've changed a little bit, and we do more, but we have themes, so that changes what we're doing too a bit.
Yeah, the theme is a big thing, right? You can do anything you want as long as aligned to the theme. So I know even like in like, let's say like international comedy festival that we have in Melbourne, you can get everyone just like deliver a funny speech, like humorous night, like speech night, or yeah, so many things that we can do in the club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had dress ups too, things. So lots.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to have the time and creativity, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. And also, I think it matters a lot, the culture of the club as well, so that you know that everyone is on the same page and everyone is going to participate and engage. I just jumped in to remind you that we are getting to a close. So if you want to maybe ask a question to someone else, or if you want to tell us what you want to end your session with, Lynn.
Okay. If there's anything else, I'll move to our last slide, which is the call action. I would really encourage you guys to write down one action you will take in your club for the next week to keep your member. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be like, massive like vision that you want to do, but just a small little action that you can take from this session. And I really hope that, this section that can give you a bit more ideas and things that you can improve in your club. And I know it works for my club, and I'm sure that it will work. If it's not works, there's plenty of other alternative, and I'm sure that you'll find a right path to improve the club and member engagement and keep the club strong. Hand back to you, Alex. There's nothing much.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this session. I hope everyone learned something new. If not, it was a reflection of something that you're already doing, which means you're on the right track. But what I also wanted to tell you is that Lynn is still in the role for another few months. So feel free to reach out to her if you want to connect with her directly. She is the area director of M22, and I'm sure she's very friendly and approachable and happy to share as many secrets as she has for you. I also noticed that there are a few comments for workshop from Jeannie. Jeannie, if you refer to open house, Leah Walker already replied to you, and you should reach out to the district. If you're just curious about a workshop in your club, there is no parameters or nothing specific that you need to follow. It's more about, can you use this as a project in your pathway? And then also to add it to your agenda to make sure that you have time for it. And other than that, I have the background. And if I don't mention this, I'm sure Sue is going to call me tomorrow and she's going to tell me, hey, I heard you never spoke about the conference and it's coming up. It's 2 weeks out. So there is still a bit of time for everyone to join this conference. I think 2 weeks remaining for ticket selling. If you haven't done it yet, please have a look at the website and understand if this is for you. I know this is for you because I've been to many conferences in the past, but also you can pick a day pass. You don't have to go to all 3 if what you're interested in is just the speech night maybe, or just the workshop day. So have a look of what matches your style, and I hope I can see as many of you there as well. We have a few more sessions coming up on education, and you will receive an email from me. Other than that, if you have any other questions, you can send it to me at education. You can send it to Lynn at M22, or connect on D73 website as well with us. We have a group on Facebook. We're there. We're happy to chat.